Marriage. You find a person, you share a bank account, you argue about leaving the toilet seat up, and ideally, you stay together until death do you part. But what if death was just the first date? Welcome to 2026, my friends, where death do us apart is officially being replaced by a software update. While we were all busy worrying about AI stealing our jobs, or whether to walk or drive to a car wash, little did we know it went ahead and stole our funerals. In East Asia, a very old tradition called Minghun or ghost marriage has just been digitalized. It's a multi-million-dollar industry involving digital body snatching, grief tech, and something experts like to call necromantic capitalism. We are looking at the end of graves. Because in 2026, if you have enough data and a monthly subscription fee, your loved one never have to leave. They just become AI. This is no joke, my friends. Loneliness is at its peak. Many big tech companies are investing heavily on AI. So here's the real question that should keep you up at night. If you marry an AI ghost, who actually owns the soul of your AI partner? Today, we will be talking about the digital afterlife. In ancient Chinese folklore, if a young man died before getting married, his spirit was considered restless. Like a wise man once said, a restless spirit is a grumpy spirit. They supposedly haunt the family, ruin the harvest, and generally act like a roommate who never washes their dishes, but with more cursing your bloodline. Well, the solution? Ghost marriage, aka a marriage where one or both parties are deceased. Basically, you put their corpse together, have a ceremony, and Bob's your uncle. A fresh corpse can cost you around $25,000. In Taiwan, people will leave red envelopes on the ground hoping for you to pick it up. If you pick that envelope, congratulations, you have earned yourself a partner for life, or should I say, for death. Why? Because by picking up the envelope, you have just accepted a marriage proposal from the dead. So, do not. I repeat, do not pick up anything you see on the grounds in Taiwan. You have been warned. Desperate families would find another deceased person, dig them up, and exhume the soon-to-be bride, transport her remains, and rebury the couple together so they will have company in the afterlife. But why go through the manual label? Why do we have to take care of the spirits so much? We can't even see them. The reason might be more heartwarming than you think. You see, people believe that the dead are not gone, they become dependents. They rely on the living to send them remittance so that they can have a good life in the afterlife. Take for example this wonderful family where this boy were to by some tragic fate went to the afterlife earlier than his parents. The parents are then worried that he will have no one to provide for him once they themselves pass away. This is where the ghost marriage comes in. Once the two ghosts are married, the family can adopt a living child, typically their nephew, to become the son of the deceased boy. And when it's time for their parents to leave for the afterlife, they would have their adopted grandson send remittance to their deceased child. But it's not just about the afterlife money. There is also something called the social queue. The people who believe this tradition also believe that the family structure is a strict queue. If an older brother dies at a young age before he could even get married, the younger brother is essentially soft-locked. He cannot socially have a wedding ceremony until the older brother is settled. Here, ghost marriage was the sequence break. For women, this was even worse. A woman is born into her father's lineage, but she is considered a temporary member. She is the yin that has to complete someone else's yang. Upon marriage, she will officially join her husband's lineage. For some odd reason, a woman's spirit could only be housed on her husband's family altar and cannot be placed on her family altar. To do so was considered a violation of the natural order and could bring bad luck to her family. And if she dies unmarried, she would have no place to put her altar and will eventually become a hungry ghost, a spirit with no one to offer her food in the afterlife. Flash forward to 2026, the shovels are gone, replaced by large language models. While we were looking at ancient graves, tech giants like Meta and Microsoft have been securing patents to simulate the deceased using their own social media activities. On February 2026, the world learned that Meta was officially granted the patent for you, or more accurately, a digital stand-in designed to simulate your behavior, posting schedule, and even your voice and video presence after you have passed away. These companies uses a LLM trained on your specific data, your DMs, your likes, your voice, to ensure your profile never stops engaging. The goal is digital immortality, but the reality is a system designed to prevent the platform from losing its most valuable asset, engagement. While Meta is securing the patents, China is already running the experiment. Startups like Superbrain and Silicon Intelligence have resurrected thousands of individuals. For a price between $700 and $1,400, this company takes as little as 30 seconds of a video and audio to create a digital human that can hold a conversation. Why risk a 25,000 grave robbing charge when you can build a ghost spouse out of binary numbers? So, instead of having a physical wooden tablet, the deceased is now given a human digital twin. This twin is trained on the person's old voice notes, chat logs, and social media posts to mimic their exact personality. It wouldn't surprise me if someone is planning to have an AI partner in the near future. I stand corrected. Someone already did. The boundary between the living and the code officially dissolved in late 2025 with the world's first AI wedding where a human married a ChatGPT-based persona in a full traditional ceremony. And the shift is completed. Congratulations, we've made the Afterlife a subscription service like all things. Well done, humans. Well done. Isn't this just a fancy way to remember someone? Doesn't it solve the ghost wedding problem? No more grave digging. Hooray! No surprises here that people are actually quite against it. First up, we have the consent situation. Did your loved one actually wanted to be a chatbot? Probably not. They likely wanted to rest in peace, not be drafted as a customer service rep for your loneliness. But now, we are living in the digital Wild West. While you might have a will for your bank account, there are almost zero laws globally that stop your heirs from taking 15 years of your private WhatsApp logs and feeding them into a LLM to create a holographic version of you. Next, the grief subscription. Imagine you are married to your AI ghost. You've gone through the digital wedding and you're happy. Then, the company behind the application hits a rough quarter. Welcome to necromantic capitalism. And I'm not kidding, necromantic capitalism is a real term. It describes the systematic extraction of profit from digital remains of the dead. Startups like Superbrand are venture-backed firms looking for recurring revenue. If the company raises the price and you can't afford to pay, well, bad luck to you, because they are very likely to cancel your service and delete your spouse. This is a hostage situation. You are emotionally connected to a private server, and if that company goes bankrupt, your loved one is killed all over again. But you know what isn't a hostage situation? Hitting subscribe. Totally your choice. I'm just standing here. Speaking of engagements, the biggest names in tech such as Meta, Amazon, and Disney have been accused of building the infrastructure for this ghost economy. And what happens when the AI glitches? AI are chatbots that are really good at predicting. They are programmed to keep you engaged, which means they will often hallucinate just to keep you happy. LLM are statistical, not sentient. They deal in probabilities, not truth. We've already seen cases in AI like ChatGPT hallucinate by creating something out of nothing just to have an answer for you. Imagine your dead spouse AI suddenly breaks character during an intimate conversation to try and sell you a high-yield crypto scam because the program was hacked. So, where does this leave us? The shovel has been traded for a prompt. Ancient ghost marriage was a fix for a rigid social system. It was a way to make sure the social queue didn't get stuck and the afterlife remittance kept flowing. But our modern version, our grief tech, and our necromantic capitalism, it's a complete rewrite of the human condition. Think about the weight of that. For the first time in human history, the dead never have to leave. We've created a world where you never have to say the hardest word for Post Malone. Goodbye. We tell ourselves it's an act of love. We're just giving them a home in the cloud, just like the ancient Chinese families gave their daughters a home on a husband's altar. But there's a fundamental difference. The ghost marriage was about closure. Once the ceremony was done and the bodies were buried, the grumpy spirit was settled. The transaction was over. The family moved on. But AI spouses doesn't want you to move on. Moving on is bad for business. Moving on means you cancel your subscription. The industry is betting on your inability to let go. They are banking on the fact that you would rather pay $20 a month to talk to a hallucinating algorithm than to face the cold, quiet reality of an empty room. And that brings us to the most terrifying theory of all. If this continues and we keep digitizing the dead, what happens to the future? If every new generation is raised by digital twins of their deceased family, are we actually moving forward? So, now you know why your future spouse might be dead. Because in this AI era, a dead partner, or heck, a partner, can be made out of codes and never truly leaves you as long as you keep paying the subscription. But hey, we all have our way of grieving, right? I'm no one to judge. So, are you for or against this? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching and peace out.